Hello there, this is Dr. Jason Munsell again. It is about 3:30 or so, Monday. I'm at home now. I was having some Wi-Fi difficulties on campus, go figure. And so I was having difficulty uploading stuff, but I should have stuff uploaded now for going over the syllabus, and I'll post some of that stuff or tell you that it's up after I quickly do this. I wanted to say a little bit about the letter from Birmingham Jail. To again sort of contextualize the nature of this course. Had a little PowerPoint that you can follow along with if you so desire. Oh, here it is. Again, rhetoric of public advocacy. Can you see it? All right. By the way, you know the whole little brand or tagline or slogan, whatever, at Columbia College, you're on your way. Where are you going? Jail. Not really. I'm hoping that none of you strategically try to get yourself arrested, but that is a strategy of advocacy. And so one thing that I wanted to do, give you a little bit of context about this letter if you don't already know the context. It was an open letter written April 16th, 1963, so this is a few months before the famous March on Washington in the summer of '63. Obviously MLK Jr. He wrote the letter while he was in jail in Birmingham, Alabama, after he was arrested for taking part in a nonviolent protest, so an advocacy process, campaign, body rhetoric. As I see additional context stuff, I will put some more context stuff on KC if I remember to do so, or you can just Google more context. But what he's doing here is it is addressed specifically to white members of the clergy. And it's sort of, the original letter was a call for unity. While a lot of white clergy sort of agreed that we, needed civil rights, racism was bad, a lot of folks didn't help all that much with the advocacy processes. And so King thought that, well, they said, let us deal with the courts, we don't want all these folks doing protests and stuff like that. And King responded that without nonviolent, forceful, direct action, true civil rights can never be achieved. You can't just sit back and see what the courts do sometimes, but in any case. So as he put it, the wait was almost always meant never. That is, folks saying, wait, wait meant never. He asserted that not only was civil disobedience justified in the face of unjust laws, but that that one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So the letter was first published June 12, 1963, as the letter from Birmingham Jail in an edition of the Christian Century, and then later in the New Leader, and then it was reprinted in the Atlantic Monthly, and it was included in a book that he published in 1964 called Why We Can't Wait. And it includes someplace in there, injustice anywhere is a famous statement, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, as well as words attributed to William E. Gladstone. Justice too long delayed is justice denied. So it was basically a letter, folks, white clergy mostly, saying, hey, hold your horses, MLK. Let the courts figure this out. We don't need to, to have all these protests, and, we might just get people hurt. Slow down. Okay. So, I'm going to read the entire letter to you. It's only 50 paragraphs. That's a joke. I do want to offer you just a little bit A few excerpts that I like. Of course, the beginning is really quite good. My dear fellow clergymen, I can't imagine starting a letter better. While confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling our present activities unwise and untimely. Seldom, if ever, do I pause to answer criticism of my work and ideas, but since I feel that you are men of genuine goodwill and your criticisms are sincerely set forth, I would like to answer your statement in what I hope will be patient and reasonable terms. So he's sort of setting the stage for why he's doing this in the first place, and he gives sort of the context of why he was in Birmingham for in the first place. And he has some really great information here. He's sort of educating the readers. In any nonviolent campaign, there are 4 basic steps: collection of the facts to determine whether injustices are alive, negotiation, self-purification, and direct action. And he goes on to talk about how that we have gone through all of these steps in Birmingham. Birmingham is probably the most thoroughly segregated city in the United States. Its ugly record of police brutality is known in every section of the country. Its unjust treatment of Negroes in the courts is a notorious reality. There have been more unsolved bombings of Negro homes and churches in Birmingham than any city in this nation. These are the hard, brutal, and unbelievable facts. On the basis of these conditions, Negro leaders sought to negotiate with the city fathers, but the political leaders consistently refused to engage in good faith negotiation. Then he talks about how they needed to go through the process of self-purification, which started having workshops on nonviolence and repeatedly asked ourselves the questions, are you able to accept the blows without retaliating? And then he talked about, I love these questions. You may well ask, MLK writes, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, etc.? Isn't negotiation a better path? You are exactly right in your call for negotiation. Indeed, this is the purpose of direct action. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and establish such creative tension that a community that has consistently refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. My friends, I must say to you that we have not made a single gain in civil rights without legal and nonviolent pressure. History is the long and tragic story of the fact that privileged groups seldom give up their privileges voluntarily. Individuals may see the moral light and give up their unjust posture, but as Reinhold Niebuhr has reminded us, groups are more immoral than individuals. It depends on the individual, probably. But so, there's just, he moves on to talking about weight and the problem with the idea of weight, where he has the justice too long delayed is justice denied. The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward the goal of political independence, but we still creep at horse and buggy pace toward the gaining of a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. Talks about pathos. Where is it? Developing a bitterness toward white people. When you have to concoct an answer for a 5-year-old son who is asking in agonizing pathos, emotion, Daddy, why do white people treat colored people so mean? When you take a cross-country drive and find it necessary to sleep night after night in the uncomfortable corners of your automobile because no motel will accept you, etc., etc. So a lot of sort of very specific emotional pleas of discrimination. This is what discrimination is. He talks about complacency. One is a force of complacency made up of Negroes who, as a result of long years of oppression, have been so completely drained of self-respect and a sense of somebodyness that they have adjusted to segregation, and a few Negroes in the middle class who, because of their degree of academic and economic security, and at points they profit from segregation, have unconsciously become insensitive to the problems of the masses. The other force is, those are the complacent folks. The other force is one of bitterness and hatred and comes perilously close to advocating violence. he talks sort of about Malcolm X. So he's talking about how, again, setting up why the nonviolent is the good way to go. Talks about more injustices. In the midst of blatant injustices inflicted upon the Negro, I've watched white churches stand on the sideline